Here we are in the woods on the side of a road looking for a plant.
Hey again, YouTube. It is me, Ariel, back for another video. Today we're talking about the rattlesnake plantain orchid, a plant that I had zero knowledge of before this week. Sometimes video ideas come out of the sky. This weekend my mother sent me this text asking me if I knew what this plant was. I did not. First, you can watch us find it in the wild, a little wholesome family fun adventure.
I hate every minute of this.
What plant is that?
Grass. To find Bigfoot, you gotta know the special Bigfoot calls.
So here we are wandering around. I'm asking my mom about how big the plant we are looking for is, and she's like, oh, it's about this big. And of course, I don't know what that means. Like, the size of my palm? I don't know. I'm just looking at this bankside, just confused about my life and what it's come to. But what a beautiful amount of plants here. And yes, I am skipping and dancing, and they're dropping keys. I always do that. At last, success! Isn't she lovely, though? This tiny little plant that I have never seen before. She is very, smooth and delicate, like any orchid, and has this kind of swirly pattern to the leaves. It's called a basal rosette. It's about the size of my palm, like I expected. I have a feeling that these are going to get a little larger, but I'm not sure. And I immediately set about finding more in the area, because I know that they reproduce by runners, stolons that is. They send out little root tendrils and make more babies around them. So we're going to see if there are any babies around. Yeah. And the plant surrounding this beautiful little orchid is called twin flower and a bunch of dead leaves. It was really hard to spot. I am so impressed that my mother found it. She is a wizard. I hope I inherit the wizard genes. Oh, yes, I found another baby. Haha. Oh, it's so little and cute. Oh my gosh. Am I the only one like this? It's so cute. The Latin name for this orchid is Goodyeria oblongifolia, which has nothing to do with tires, despite what my continual Google searches told me. This is actually a pretty little known plant, and that's why I thought it would be really cool to talk about today. It's named the rattlesnake plantain because Native American tribes across America would use it for snake bites, which is not as common a problem, but it's still, good to know. Oh my gosh, you guys, I did not mean to wear my No Step on Snack shirt today, but I did. How appropriate. Wow, that's so serendipitous. Anyway, I need to point out that we call this the rattlesnake plantain, but it has nothing to do with actual plantains. It just looks like a plantain. A plantain is like a common garden weed, which is also not to be confused with the starchy banana relative, plantains that are delicious fried and baked. Why is botany like this? But as for modern herbal uses, medicinal uses, nothing. Not a peep in the internet universe. But that's okay. We're actually not making medicine out of it today because there's just so little of it where we were. Ooh, I don't know anything about anything. Point is, I don't see orchids very often, and I'm in the forests, multiple times a week. They're kind of a rare treat. I did keep Googling and eventually found some research into what chemicals are in this orchid, this rattlesnake orchid. They have cymene, pinene, and linalool, and all of those essential oils are also in oranges and pine and lavender. The rattlesnake plantain orchid is fairly common in the United States as orchids go, but orchids themselves are not a common thing to find. Does that make sense? So the rattlesnake orchid isn't threatened or endangered in this state, but it is in Florida and New York, and possibly Maine. Because orchids are uncommon and even endangered in a couple places, I think that is why the medicinal use of them is pretty much discouraged. Such as in this Wikipedia entree, this orchid is actually what we consider in Chinese medicine to be a toxic heat clearer, so it will help lung inflammation, colds, kidney stones, toothaches, snake bites, like I said before. I disagree with the Wikipedia article saying that there is no medicinal benefits that is applicable today. I think they're just trying to protect, rare plants, which I totally agree with. But this is kind of a form of gatekeeping knowledge, and I am not about that. I am about keeping the old ways alive. I'm 100% about protecting rare plants, and I'm not going to use it as medicine, but I want to know how to. I may go back and replant some of them because they were like, these rattlesnake orchids had popped up on really inconvenient places on the terrain, like basically where a car would drive over them. So I feel like it would be good to replant those. So I'll let you know how that goes. Orchids are so fickle to keep track of, to grow, because they need these very specific light and water conditions, and they need very specific fungi in the soil. They have like these beneficial relationships with soil fungus, and it's such a delicate balance that you can't just like take it and put it in a plant pot and expect it to do well necessarily. So that's why you have to take like the native soil, because it has those like fungal mycorrhiza already in it. Oh my god, Mom.
What? Another one?
I think, should we dig it up? Do you want, I think this,
where,
and another,
oh
right
my
there.
Gosh.
So here we are on the side of the road. We ended up finding a lot more of the rattlesnake orchids that were basically almost in the road, ready to get squished. So I am trying to convince my mother that it might be worthwhile to replant them either on the bank, even though they're so delicate and it's kind of like a risky thing to replant them. I am coming from the place of, oh, I don't want them to die, because cars just drive wherever they want over here and park wherever they want. Like me, I'm literally parked like 10 feet away from this. I even checked, I didn't squish any rattlesnake orchids, but I very well could have if I had parked just like 10 feet before this. I should also mention that we are on my auntie's property. We are not just randomly poaching some orchids or poking at them. So that is good. That is all well and good. Make sure to check your local foraging guidelines in your area or get permission from the landowner. Always, always. And yeah, we decided to replant one of them, the one that was furthest out in the road. And as you can see, my mom is carefully lifting the little fibrous roots. It did not have a taproot out of the soil.
I am so excited!
My mom is so happy. She's so beautiful. And we are getting more native soil because it has the mycorrhizal fungal networks that feed this particular plant. So I ended up taking the one little baby rattlesnake orchid that we rescued from the road home, and I planted it under my maple tree because I know it will get dappled sunlight. It has kind of acidic soil, and I had a lot of the native dirt that had the good fungus in it, and you know, it's been almost a week and it looks really good. It has new growth and it seems pretty happy, and all the leaves are strong, and so I'm so pleased with this. I was kind of scared and nervous because, you know, orchids are so delicate, but wow. And today I'm also going to show you how to make a poultice. Not with this plant, but so you can get the idea of it. This is how you make a spit poultice. I am using a dandelion leaf in lieu of the rattlesnake orchid leaf, which is too precious to use right now because I don't have a snake bite. I am chewing it up, and I am going to take it out, and it's a little green ball mushed up with my spit. Yes, delicious. And then I apply it to any sore that I have, like I had a little spot of eczema here. This is just a quick and dirty way to apply herbs topically and get the medicinal benefits. It would be good for any sort of blemish or bee sting, anything like that. So in theory, if I had a snake bite and I also had access to rattlesnake orchid leaves, I would make a spit poultice of them and use it on the snake bite. Before you come at me, of course, I would seek emergency medical services. Everybody would, but sometimes you're in the deep country, in the back country, in the bear country, and you don't have access to those things. I hope that this video was entertaining and informative for you, and I hope that you look for orchids in your local forest. Tell me what you find. There are so many. They're kind of rare, but there's like a bunch of different species. I hope to go to Mount Rainier sometime soon and see what kind of wildflowers and orchids they have up there. But it's kind of a crapshoot. You don't know if you're going to find them or not. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and click on the bell for notifications when I post a new video, which is every single Friday, for as long as I can keep that up, hopefully indefinitely. And if you could share it with a friend, that would be just the cat's bananas. The cat's pajamas. Bananas. Pajamas. Where was I going with this? please help me share my stuff. I appreciate y'all. Bye bye.